there's different, channels are two different things, okay? And you're allowed to eat with the channels, it's okay. So, oh no, it's fine, you don't have to hide it, it's totally fine. So, you can interpret the channels to be many things. One of them is you can interpret them to be philosophical statements. One of them you can, this is the heart channel. You can see, oh. Whoever whistles, keep doing it. So, but there's a physicality to the channel, and you can see that heart 2 is exactly here. It's where that thing stops. Okay, I happen to have the kind of body that you can see things more clearly because I'm thin and I'm wiry. Okay, so it's a little easier. So when I'm talking about like pericardium 4, you may be, actually I don't have to do it very much. You can see that there's a depression here. Most people, you won't be able to see it. So it makes sense that there should be a point here, as opposed to pericardium 4, 5 and above, which makes no sense. There's nothing physiologically there. Okay, and there are some Chinese people who say the same thing, that pericardium 4 is actually here. It's not all that unusual. Okay? So there's a physicality to them, very clearly. There is, or some portions of them, there's a physicality. Some of it is like, I don't know, what you're seeing there. Some of it is what people can feel, and some of it is totally philosophical. They are philosophical statements about life. Okay? And you can go through, for example, why should the lung channel go to the thumb? There's got to be a reason. I mean, why, okay? So, the lung is what takes the world in, okay? Whereas the heart, like we talked before, nobody wears the heart on their sleeve, okay? So the heart is going to be inside. We're going to be hiding our heart, whereas the lung is going to be external. It relates to the external world, therefore it's going to go to the thumb. It grasps things. How do we grasp? We, as humans, very different animals, because look at your cats or dogs. They have 4, and the thumb is here. Their thumb is like lung 7 or something for us. No, they're not grasping with the thumb. The opposing thumb is to be the greatness of human, whatever we are. Our greatness is depending on the thumb. Our ability to grasp the world has something to do with the thumb. Okay? So it makes sense that the lung will be on the outside of the arm and end. The lung is supposed to be like a canopy. So there's this description. It goes from Ren 12, it goes down. So you go, oh, of course it goes down. It has to connect to its yin-yang pair, right? Large intestine, so it must go down. Yeah, to some extent it's that. But it starts in the middle jiao, where the postnatal qi is. Okay? It goes down because the lung has to also go down. Besides spreading, it has to go down. The kidney has to grasp the qi, sort of thing, the concept of it. Okay? And then goes out to the outside. Now let's look at point names through the heart channel, because we can't do 365 points, and also I don't know them all to begin with. So we're going to start with heart 9. Why heart 9? Why starting with heart 9? Because in the case of the heart, we have to go backwards. You can't start from the emperor and move away. You have to pay respect. If you know Chinese architecture, there's many courtyards to get to. Like in Hidden Palace in Beijing or something. You go through many places before you get to reach to see the emperor, never mind where the emperor sleeps, but where the emperor addresses people. Facing south, okay? It's not like open to Beijing. There's many walls to go through, many gates to come through. So in the case of the heart, we're not going to do it like the regular channel, moving with the flow of the channel. We're going to go against the channel, moving towards the heart, okay? So, heart 9, the name is Shao Chong, okay? Chong. Yes, Chong means surging, like the Chong channel, but what's the other connotation? Shao means small. What's the other connotation of Chong? Sea of blood, Chong, okay? So, Shao Chong. If I am on my spiritual journey, I'm about to discover my heart, what I'm doing is I'm starting to confront my own emotions, okay? That's my Chong. Where are the emotions stored in Chinese medicine? In the blood, okay? So I'm starting with the little chong, the blood. I'm starting to look at my own blood, at my own emotions, observing who I am. As I move through to come to my heart, to my true heart, I'm going to come to the next point is called Xiao Fu. And Fu means to exchange, like the Fu organs. Okay, they are exchanging. Literally, Fu means, Fu is under a canopy. In the building, there's a person and another person, they're exchanging things. Okay, it's an exchange place. That's what Fu means. Okay, it doesn't mean palace. I see that translation also. It means exchange place. So, small exchange places, heart 8. Once I look at my emotions, I'm willing to exchange them. I'm willing to let them go. You cannot arrive at the heart in the highest sense sort of thing without being willing to let go, to exchange what your emotions are, because you are insisting on doing the external, system, being your mannerisms instead of being, even though they're emotional mannerisms, as opposed to being willing to exchange them. You have to be willing, like, these are my reactions, and I tend to get sad, angry, pissed off, whatever, or over-laughing, or whatever it is, or cerebral. These are my reactions, but I'm willing to let them go. I'm willing to exchange them. And once I'm willing to do that, once I'm willing to look at my emotions and I'm willing to let them go, that is when, strangely enough, you are at the gate of spirituality, Shen Men. I'm at the gate of being able to see my animation. That's heart 7. So the funny part here is that to me, heart 7, that's so popular for TCM, as the Shen point, to me it's like, really? That's just like, you just walking through the gate. You've done nothing as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and you can have different perspective from it, and it's okay, and different people can do different things. But I'm just saying, that's one perspective to look at the channel. When you're looking at the full channel, that would be my perspective. I can change how I see it, according to what's my context. From heart 7, hearts, now another thing that's very interesting, so the heart channel is very close, we're keeping it hidden, because that's what people do, they hide their true heart. And the other thing is, don't you think it's a little weird, we have of the 9 points of the heart, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 out of 9 are like within a tsum and a half from each other. I mean, that's like an absurdity. There's no other channel that does it. Something's very interesting here. The wrist must be very important for the heart. So if you learn calligraphy in China, the first thing you do, you start by moving the brush just from the shoulder, then just from the elbow, then just from the wrist. Okay? But the true expression of the heart, because it's the ability of the wrist, but still connected with the heart. So it's my heart is expressed if you're an intellectual. These people who did this were intellectuals. They could read and write in China 2,500 years ago. They were intellectuals. Okay? They weren't some Joe Blows. It's not like today everybody can read and write. Football. Yes, I play football professionally, but I can read and write. This is like in China. I played football. I don't read and write, but I write medicine. I can read and write. So it's the ability to do calligraphy that expresses the heart in poetry. So, for example, I used to write prescriptions for patients and send them to Chinatown in San Francisco. The patient would come back and say, they wouldn't give me the herbs because they said that your practitioner is like a 5-year-old. And I said, well, yeah, I can't write Chinese. I'm just, doing my best I can, but it looks like a 5-year-old. What do you want? But they're so snobbish. You should write prescription beautifully. So now, with software, it's not a problem. You just type it in. Here, take this. Let this see what they say. Damn it. And there's also ways to write prescriptions. For example, because you don't do herbs, so it's not so clear to you. But most herbs have, a 3-character name, and they also have like 2-character name. So, for example, you can do Ramanya. We can say Shendi or Shudi, depending on the kind of Ramanya, if it's cooked or not. You can do Shendi. Everybody says Shendi. You know, but if you write, you should really write Shen Di Huang. It's the better way to do it. It's not. And if you can, and many herbs have 3 names, but nobody really knows the 3 names. You know, if you look it up in the Materia Medica, you'll only see the 2 names. But there's a way to add, to make so you do have a three-part name. Okay. Now, so for example, Baiju, you know, Baiju, I don't know its 3-character name, but it has a 3-character name. But if you want it fried, you say Cao Baiju, but you'll whatever, say it's Baiju X for 3 names. You're not going to say Cao Baiju X. It doesn't fit. So it has to be 3, and it's measured. You know, like Chinese poetry is measured. 5 syllables, which means 5 words per line, 4 words per line, very specific. And the accent has to be, the tonality has to match in poetry. It's very, very regimented. Okay? You write a prescription, ideally you write it that way. I can't do it because I don't speak Chinese to begin with. I can't do the tonality, I can't tell you. It doesn't mean anything to me. So but there'll be people who do herbs, and they'll place the herbs not in order of importance necessarily, the grouping. Like if you look in the Materia Medica, you go, but why don't they group them together? And you know, because they want the sound to be, you know, that's why for you, when you're reading the Ling Shu, for example, in English there is a translation, and he's trying to translate the poetic, but he can't. It's impossible to do. You know, but it's meant to be a rhetoric. It's meant to be recited. It's not meant to be read. It's meant to have a sound that's kind of like a poem. You know, Ji Bo Se. Venerable Emperor. You know, you can't do it in English. It doesn't work. Okay? So, next point. So the expression of the heart is in the wrist. Next point after heart 7 is heart 6. The name is Yin Shi. Okay? The Shi is like a cleft point or an accumulation. The accumulation of the yin. What's going to happen once you look at your emotion and you're willing to exchange and you coming through the gate? The first thing that's happened, and you can talk to anybody who's gone on any retreat, whether it's Vipassana or whatever it is, they're going to say, oh my God, all my crap came up. That's like the standard. You go, you're sitting, and you go, man, I hate my father. That bitch. Can't believe, you know, that this comes up for people. And then we sit and we That's what happens to everyone. All your yin accumulation, all the stuff that you haven't dealt with is coming up. The accumulations are coming out. And in order to pass through that, you have to accept them. And what you need to do is you need to penetrate through them, Tong Li. Okay, the penetrating mile, heart 5, is coming in. Okay, so now what's the penetration? How do you penetrate your garbage?
Acceptance?
Acceptance, okay.
Maybe. Or, I don't know. Just putting it out there.
Compassion.
You're doing just fine.
I would say compassion. Compassion is the emotion that's going to penetrate all things. Now, you have many ways to write compassion in Chinese. One of them would be the flourishing of the heart. When the heart is fully flourishing, that will be either love or compassion. The two of them are very closely similar. Love is to want the best for the other person. Compassion is the exact same thing, except defined through I do not want the other person to suffer. But either one is basically you want the best. There's no difference between love and compassion. So the emotion that conquers. So for example, when you're in love, okay, you all remember with one point you were in love, you know, even for 5 minutes, it's okay. Hey, sometimes that's all it takes, you know. But it's like, there's no problems. My bank account, my exams, my job, I lost everything. Everything's fine because it's eternal springtime in Paris. Because I'm in love, everything's fabulous. That's love. It conquers everything else. It displaces everything else. Unfortunately, so does anger. When you're angry, nothing matters. But the difference is, suddenly, your bank account really does matter. Because it's your problem I don't have a bank account. Yes, I'm going to do this person. But that's anger. It doesn't displace all emotions. It conquers all emotions. But it mobilizes all emotions into the anger. Love is different. Love really does, it lets go of them. So to penetrate means compassion, basically. The next point is hard for when you have compassion, when you have managed to penetrate, that's when you kind of link down. Okay? The way of Ling is spirituality. It is different than Shen. And then we'll get back to this program. It's been waiting since the morning. Shen, something that came from heaven and got extended. Okay? This is the character for Shen. You can see that my Chinese and my English are just about the same handwriting. Not very good. Now, Ling, as in Ling Shu, the spirit. Now this, if it came down for heaven and got extended, a better word from, in my understanding, rather than spirit, you can say spirit if you want, is your animation. It is not controllable, it is not cultivatable. You received it from heaven. Your ancestors sat up there in the heavenly court, according to the Chinese. They sit up there and they said, we are going to send this Shen down, representing us from the 12th century, the 13th century, the 1st century, whatever. You know, they're the ancestors, whoever they are, which actually means everyone. Okay? And we're going to send Fern to investigate the 21st century. And one day, when you're gone, and you go back to the ancestral, when the Po goes down, the Hun goes back up, okay? You report to the ancestral court, oh, the 21st century, yes, it was so much fun, and we had this, and we did that, and there were these people, and oh yeah, they sound like the Mongolians of my era. You know, there's like this ancestral court, they're curious to see what's happening on Earth. So they're sending a Shen, or a Hun, down to Earth. Okay? We cannot this is not a cultivatable capacity. Ling, on the other hand, the rain that comes from heaven, this is rain, this is a shaman, and these are 3 mouths. The 3 mouths of this is a person, Ren, who can communicate between heaven and earth and across the veils to the people on the other side. Who is that? That's the shaman. Okay, that's what a shaman does. They communicate across. They can call out to heaven and produce the rain. That's spiritual. That's why Shen as spirit isn't a very good thing, because there's a connotation that this is a soul or a spirit. It can be cultivated. You can change your Ling. You can't really change your Shen. Your Shen is your nature. You will always be whatever you are. It's just the way it is. It's not a big deal. You can be something, you can have another demeanor, but you will always have a certain kind of Shen. Like, you know, you guys say, oh, you are a fire constitutional factor or whatever. It's who you are. Now, you may display it differently. You may cultivate yourself as a wood, factor or whatever, But, so that's the difference between Shen and Ling, okay? So the Ling down, the way of the Ling, meaning you've learned, you're learning, you know how to cultivate. When you have compassion, you can cultivate. Without compassion, you can't cultivate. Once you've cultivated, you're cultivating your soul or your spirituality. That's when you come to Xiao Hai, the little C, okay, heart 3. What that means is now, because I have compassion, I've cultivated myself to see something that actually you can see in the character Shen, but we'll do that later. You can see that all of us, we're just part of the ocean of life. I am a little ocean in the big ocean of life. There's no separation between me and anybody else. The character, you know what Chan means? Chan is the same character as Zen. So you know Zen because everybody likes Zen meditation, Zen cushions, Zen paintings. What is it? The character Zen hip hop. Oh, I like it. That's an interesting phenomenon. I like that. Zen in Chinese, the character in Chinese, it was called Chan. It comes from the word dhyana, okay, which can be pronounced also as jhana. Okay? In Chinese, you can only have one syllable. You can't say ji yan na. So they said it's Chan. And what that really means, when you write it, it's one continuation, one ancestor, one extending. By the way, that second character, say that just the second part of Shen, Shen Mai, UB62, the extending vessel. Okay? This part, to extend. One of those is meditation, because when you meditate, what the Chinese is saying, meditation is to be one, to understand that we all have one ancestor. I understand that I am not different. I don't have my ego against your ego, that person. When I understand this, I understand the ocean of life. That's when I have Qing Ling. Now and this Qing is not written correctly, in my opinion. It's written as purple, but it should. You need to take the left side out of it. It means pure. Okay, Qing Ling. Then you have a pure soul. And when you have a pure soul, you reach the Jichuan, the supreme spring, the place where everything flows from, which, by the way, relates to Yang Chuan, to Kidney 1, which is another Shaoyin channel. So you can see the relationship between the channels. Okay? But the spring, to arrive at the spring of your life, there's a certain kind of work that can be done, and one path, or one understanding of this kind of work is described through the point names of the heart channel. Now, so the interesting part is, now both the heart and the pericardium have 9 points, okay? And 9 is a what kind of number?
It's very sacred number.
Yeah, but that's, I would say, more in Western traditions, because 9 times 9 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. No matter what you multiply 9 by, you're still getting 9, which is like the truth. No matter what you do with the truth, however you muck it up, at the bottom of it, there's only the truth, sort of thing. So in that sense, yes. But for the Chinese, it's a very young number. Right? You never heard of that?
Well, they do all the heating techniques. They do it in 9, don't they?
And if you, and you'll do 6 for a yin number.
Yeah.
Okay, So the heart is very young because it's the Shen resides in the heart. It's
The lungs and the heart are the highest organ.
They are the highest. No, we're not talking. Now we're talking truly spiritually speaking. It has to be very. The heart has to be young, not just because it's fire, because it contains the Shen, and the Shen is, we say Jing, Qi, Shen, right? Jing is the most yin, and Shen is the most yang in this threesome. Okay, so so the heart channel has 9 points because it's the most young, and it can never change. You can never say the heart channel can have a different number of points because you're not within this understanding of the heart channel. You can do whatever you like. Okay, but if you want to be true to this ideology, then you're saying yes, of course it has 9 points. It must have 9 points. It can't have 10. It can't have 11. We can't add points or take one away. If you take one away, you've got to put another one in to make the 9. Okay? So you can see that the people who created the channel system had certain ideologies, certain ideas, and they were not all consistent, by the way. So the very first description of the channels is they're all starting out here and ending up in the trunk. Then they said, no, we want to make it a circuit, so that we're starting with Ren 12 going out and then coming back in. So the Ren channel originally was described as from here, and you see that, okay, described from here moving up. But then there's other descriptions in the Ling Shu that do the opposite. Okay, and that's the description we're accepting today because we want that lung to large intestine to stomach to spleen to, blah, 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 blah. So just to kind of have this understanding that the channels have a psychospiritual understanding, and you have to, it's there, it's some sort of code for you to look into and find out what your relationship with it is, or make up your own. And I'm totally okay with you making up your own. In fact, I'd rather you made up your own. It makes sense for you to make your own. Because it's not someone else's channels. It's your material. Okay? So that was my lecture on the heart channel. Moving right along
Now
to...
the bladder channel.
Sorry? What? The bladder channel? Well, okay, let's see. It's possible to do, actually. I mean, the thing about, actually, the bladder channel is one of the easiest in a way because so much of it is shoe points. You actually don't have that much because so much of it is the well, it's there because these are the shoe points, because it's taiyang, meaning it's communicating to the exterior. Therefore, that's why the shoe points are there. So the whole back is really only looking at bladder 1 to 10, and then at the legs. The rest is kind of not part of the picture in a sense. So, but I would have to think about it and really come up with it. In spite of the fact I'm saying it's easier than it looks, it's still complex. It's just the thing about the heart channel. If you want, I can give you. Well, actually, I can't do it by point names quite so easily. But if you look at the stomach channel, for example, the stomach. What does the stomach do?
It rots and rightens the food from the
You're so good with the dog. Take that away. No. The way to understand things is to throw the dogma away and then to come back and say, okay, yes, now I understand. What does the stomach do? Before it rots, it receives, right?
Yeah.
So it takes something from the outside and makes it your own. Okay? So now we can understand that why the stomach is so important, besides the fact that food is, of course, very important. I'm not saying you shouldn't eat in life, but I'm just saying, although I know people who don't. But the stomach is important because it's about our interaction with life. It's about our capacity to take stuff away from the outside world and assimilate it. I would say that pretty much describes what we do in life. We take experiences and assimilate them. So what's happening? The stomach channel actually starts in UB1 to stomach 1 down. It connects with the nose also, and it goes around the mouth. And it goes back, and then at stomach 5 there'll be a branch that goes down, and that's the branch that we know as the stomach channel. But the original channel, the one that started here, circled, we already have the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. It's now going to go to the ear, and then it's going to go to stomach 8, and it's at Ren 24, do 24, meaning it basically went into the brain. So we took our sensory organs, I mean, we also have touch, sensory organ, but otherwise it's eyes, nose, tongue, and ears. And we took them and we brought them into the seat of the marrow, into the brain. Basically, this is the end of the stomach channel. This is a whole other branch. So all your stomach 36s and all that kind of beautiful stuff that we have, which is totally relevant, is a different branch. But the basic stomach channel did not even connect with the organ. It's kind of very interesting because none of us think about the stomach channel being this when you go to school. But when you look at it philosophically, it totally makes sense. By the way, this is the description. The description starts here and ends here. Then they talk about the branch that starts at stomach 5. It's a separate branch and moves down to stomach 9, and splits at 12 into 2, etc., etc. So, you can look, I just want to encourage you to look at channels and do many things with them. Now, let's talk finally about the abdomen, which we should have done in the morning so we have some common language. All right, so we have this thing called oketsu, which we've seen actually on a number of people, but we actually never treated anybody in the official manner. The treatment for oketsu officially is liver 4, lung 5 on the left. Now remember what I told you, you don't do a finding and fix it. You find everything and look for the best idea. But when you can't find a connecting idea, a central idea, you can start chasing the abdomen. It will be a total drag to do, in my opinion. I'd rather use my brain and find a common thread. But if you can't, and the common thread will come from the abdomen. One of these protocols will probably be the one you want to do. So that's your oketsu. Next thing you have on the right side. Now, this oketsu can extend all the way to kidney 16. It's a large area. This one, right stomach 27, is not as extended. It's not an exact position, but it's not going to move so far up or inwards. This can be your lung reflex, right stomach 27. Lung reflex, immune reflex, digestive reflex, it's right above the appendix, or pelvic shift. Okay, some people have structural shifts and it will show in right stomach 27. Okay. If it's a lung thing, there'll probably be a bronchial reflex as well, but the solution to that is either lung 5 or lung 8, and often you can use lung 8 on the left side, even though the reflex is on the right side. Okay.
So to determine what one that is, would you,
You have to
then
find
test?
which points do it.
Okay.
Or of course it's lung reflex, you have asthma, kind of thing. It all
Yeah.
depends on, well, of course it's an immunity thing, you have whatever. Like she had all three. She may have had a pelvic shift too, I don't know. But, she was digestion, I believe, because she had Ren 12, that led to asthma and she also had immune problems, she had the mononucleosis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in her case, it reflected all three. You can reflect 2, 1, 3, all 4. I don't, So you sometimes you'll do something and it will reduce the pressure pain, but then you'll need to do the next item. If it's immunity, chances are immune point will do a good job. That's the one large intestine 10, 11, but on the bone, how the tissue connects to the bone, which also reflects on Sanjov 16 behind the SCM. That's immune. Immune point is a fabulous point. It's really worth knowing and using. So that's one of the things I would add into your repertoire, even if you're still doing TCM and you're not into palpating. Immune point is worth adding, and it's not large intestine 11, and it's not large intestine 10. It's in between, and it's a different kind of point. It's a fabulous thing to do. Because, okay. Then you have your 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock, which is your adrenals. Now, adrenal originally, now going to say, kidney 6 plus 27. 27 gets needled this way. Now, kidney 6, you ask for location. So what you do is, somewhere below the ankle bone, when it's relaxed, there'll be a hole, or a hollow rather. You want that. If you can get that, that's fabulous. But not everybody's going to have it because they may have very tight tendons. So you do what you can, and we needle towards the heel or towards the Achilles. Okay, not down, but down towards the table. Okay, that's kidney 6. However, there are many circumstances where kidney 6 is not the best point for adrenal, and there's various reasons for it. So, for example, first of all, if they have kidney 2 pain. Okay, so you poke on kidney 2 and they say, ouch, pain. Okay. Now, kidney 2 is an area. So with liver 2, spleen 2, I can just press with my thumb or whatever finger I want, okay? But kidney 2, I have to kind of rub it because it is an area. It's an area that goes almost up to spleen 4. Okay, excuse me, I feel too much, I'm not very polite. So don't just press on right under the navicular bone. Go forward also towards spleen 4. If they have pain on kidney 2, pressure pain on kidney 2, it means metal water points for fire. Okay? So therefore, I would rather do kidney 7 and 10 plus 27 instead of kidney 6 plus 27. 27 stays. Always 27. But the lower kidney can change. So origin was kidney 6, but you can use others. For people with asthma, for example, well, we won't add 27. But say that for thyroid, low thyroid, sometimes kidney 3 is the best point for thyroid, and they have adrenal also. You might find that kidney 3, needled again towards the Achilles, is the best solution. Okay, so that can be part of your adrenal treatment. Now, if somebody has asthma and you're doing kidney 3, you can call it kidney 4 really, because you're going on the bone and you'll needle it down towards the heel. Okay, that's the best kidney 3 for lung problems. Now, you have another kidney 3 so now thyroid is regular kidney 3, just level with the highest point. Above it, sometimes you'll find people with brain problems. Okay, that can be neurological problems like, Parkinson's, MS, stuff like that, or Alzheimer's, or possibly depression. They will have like a little sometimes they'll have a nodule right above kidney 3. You can say somewhere between kidney 3 and kidney 7, but it's closer to kidney 3 than 7. Needling that will be the better kidney 3 for them. It will change more stuff in the abdomen because the main issue is brain, and there's something about, there's that nodule with people with brain problems, okay, problems in the brain. Kidney 7 we also use is better for another 2 more reasons besides kidney 2 pain. Somebody has, it's another good thing you want to always use out of this class, even if you can't do the palpation technique and all of this is like too much information and it's not all that interesting. This is really a great trick. Any musculoskeletal problem, check gallbladder 26. It's low back, it's for knees as well as shoulders. So check both sides gallbladder 26, and I don't mean the one that's below liver 13. That's the Li Shi Jian. Li Shi Jian said gallbladder 26, the daimai should relate to the spleen, because spleen is dampness and daimai is excess dampness, blah, blah, blah. Li Shi Jian is a very big figure in Chinese medicine, and he said, okay, I'm going to take gallbladder 26 below Zhangmen, below liver 13. And everybody since then is doing the same thing, because nobody's going to argue with Li Shi Jian, except assholes like me, who say, excuse me, Mr. Li Shi Jian, it makes no sense whatsoever. There is nothing energetically here, but there is clearly something energetically here. This is where gallbladder 26 always was. So with all due respect to Mr. Li Shi Jian, you can kiss my gallbladder 26, and it's going to stay here for me. Okay? I have never found any point that's worth dealing with underneath the tip of the 11th rib.
Say again, please.
Straight to the side is gallbladder 26. Always has been, always will be for me, but it has always been before the 12th century. I'm not going to argue with someone who's dead, you know.
Below 12th rib, that.
Below the 12th rib will be in the back.
11th rib,
That's GB25, but GB26, I don't see any reason why the gallbladder has to move to the front. Straight to the side. Now, what's happening? We talk about gallbladder 34 being a torque, but gallbladders, when you're twisting, you know, people are like, and maybe here they don't shovel snow so much, but, you know, in New England, they're like, you know, or they're, you know, you have to do, in the fall, you have to, not scrape the leaves, but what is that called? Rake the leaves and stuff. You're twisting all the time, and then they have back pain, okay? Or they went skiing and, you know, they're twisting and things like, well, always twisting. The axis of the twisting is also gallbladder 26, right? So what happens? People, your first indication of gallbladder 26, somebody comes for the shoulder and say, I can't lift my arm. Look what happens. If I'm wearing, we'll pretend this is a leotard and it's tight down here, okay? So gallbladder 26 through the daimai is tight. See how my shirt won't let me, this will be the equivalent of the pectoralis. If I release this, suddenly my arm can go up. So people who say I can't lift my arm, there's a good chance the pectoralis is tight. To release the pectoralis, use gallbladder 26. However, often they'll say, you know, like, I'm not talking about ticklish. So use kidney 7 to release gallbladder 26, then you can needle gallbladder 26. But just kidney 7 already releases the shoulder a lot, and then adding gallbladder 26 gives you extra mileage. Okay? That's true for a lot of back pains. A lot of back pains have to do with twisting. So if you find gallbladder 26, do kidney 7 to release gallbladder 26, then needle gallbladder 26. You can put 3 needles in it on gallbladder 26. It's a location, it's an area. And chances are, you know, the back will get better. But you're testing it. So didn't work. You don't just
Can you say again the relation of kidney 7
to gallbladder 26? It's the, sorry, I know exactly what you want. You want the Sanjiao 5 and gallbladder 41 and you ain't getting it. There's no connection to it. The thing is, this area, even though this is spleen, Shen Shu, the kidney Shu and the kidney Mu are in line with gallbladder 26 basically. It's this area, this primitive daimai belongs to the kidney, with the exception of the navel, which also belongs to the kidney, but also belongs to the spleen. Okay? So for me, this is reflex of kidney. So kidney 7 happens to generally be the better point to release gallbladder 26. Sometimes you'll find kidney 9 is. Now, so we were on adrenal originally. So one of the things you want to definitely take out of this class is check gallbladder 26 in people, release it with kidney 7, and then needle gallbladder 26 for musculoskeletal stuff. It can be neck, it can be back, it can be shoulder. It can be knee, by the way. Inner knee eye stuff, meniscus stuff, really great for it. The other combination, by the way, for knees, spleen 5 with stomach 41 is probably one of the best combinations for knee problems.
Sorry, could you start again?
Stomach 41 with spleen 5 is probably the best combination for knee problems. And you remind me of knees, and I will tell you more about it in a moment, but let's finish some protocols. Now, kidney 9 might be the best kidney point. Often, if they have a goiter, or they have TMJ, or they have something weird in the neck, kidney 9 usually does a better job, although kidney 7 may be pretty good. It's a toss-up between kidney 9 and 7 with the neck TMJ kind of issues. Okay, so a point, kidney points below the knee, from the knee below, plus 27 is for adrenal. Okay, next we have Ren 9. Ren 9 can be a few things. If it's just pressure and you don't feel the pulse, generally we call it sadness reflex. The treatment is the same regardless, but quite honestly, if it's sadness reflex, I used to, then you're not supposed to, don't tell anybody, because that's the treatment for Ren 15. Spleen 5 plus pericardium. Okay. Now, what does it mean plus pericardium? That's a big subject. Plus pericardium, because people with autonomic nervous system disorders, and most people have them, okay, you're going to end up with a pericardium at some stage. You check pericardium 8. If there's pain on pericardium 8, you're dictated supposedly to do pericardium 3 plus 5, metal water. If pericardium 8 does not have pressure pain, I tend to do, originally we used to say differentiate, do they like the pressure on pericardium 4? If they say, oh yes, I like it, my name is Jesus, okay, I like pressure here, then you can needle it, but nobody likes the needle there. So instead you can use pericardium 4. And if they say neither, they don't like, they don't dislike, they don't care, it's pericardium 6. The honest truth is, nowadays what I do, pericardium 8 is painful, fine, 3 and 5. Pericardium 8 is not painful, is it going to be 4 or is it going to be 6? How do I know? My preference generally is for 4, 3 fingers below, but I check against anywhere in the neck where they have something, and I check which one releases the neck or the throat. Okay? Whichever one releases gets the gold star and gets the needle. Okay? So 6 and 4 are relatively equivalent. Okay? Relatively. Okay? So when I say plus pericardium means check pericardium 8. Do you do 3 and 5? And don't assume it's going to be the same on both sides. It'll be different. Each side is different. It has its own check. Then check between 4 and 6 and decide which is the best. Pericardium 4, we say, moves blood into the abdomen. Okay, so anything that's not enough blood in the abdomen, especially gynecological issues, we like to use pericardium 4. Pericardium 6, we say builds the blood. So you can say 4 moves the blood and 6 builds the blood. It's bullshit. It's kind of irrelevant. Both will do it. And what you do is it's a good combination for anemia with spleen 6. Spleen 6 plus pericardium is a good combination for anemia. Okay? So it's just a whole bunch of by the ways, because the truth is this is how acupuncture works. There are books that are called Behind the Elbow. What it means is the assistant stands behind your elbow and they're watching what you're doing. That's how you learn acupuncture. It's not a system per se. So it's a bunch of tricks, you know, and then you can create a system and use the tricks out of it. Okay, but it's not like points have functions like they would like to pretend in TCM. I don't believe that. So originally, if Ren 9 just pressure pain and we think sadness, I do spleen 3 plus pericardium, which is the same solution as Ren 15, by the way, which is the worry reflex. But officially the solution for Ren 9 is right side stomach 24, needle it slightly towards the outside. Kiiko says 80 degrees, I would call it more 60 degrees, towards gallbladder 26 type thing. Plus left side gallbladder 26. Why left side gallbladder 26? A lot of these people with Ren 9 will show also spleen 20. Spleen 20 is in the vicinity of the pectoralis, so you're trying to release this, because it is, remember, it's the emotions that are not kept well in the heart will show in Ren 9, or weak dantian, meaning the fire, the Mingmen fire and the big fire in the heart are not communicating well. Okay, so it's going to show mechanically on spleen 20, and you're trying to release it with gallbladder 26. Remember, gallbladder 26 releases the pectoralis. So that's Ren 9. Ren 12 can have a number of different things that it reflects, but mostly will be digestion. If you have a beam, you had, Lawrence, you had a beam across. A beam across stomach 21 to stomach 21 we call weak pancreas or pancreatitis tummy. Because the Western treatment of pancreatitis is cortisone, we do adrenal treatment. Kidney 6 plus 27 or other adrenal treatment, whatever you feel is appropriate for this person, plus spleen 5. Spleen 5 is an anti-inflammatory point, especially for the lower jaw, but in the case it's pancreatitis, which belongs to the spleen. So spleen 5, very important, preferably add moxa to spleen 5. Okay. Plus, some people you will find will tell you that adrenal treatment is kidney 6 plus 27 or kidney plus 27 plus lung 5. Why? Because lung 5 is water point of metal, meaning water point on the mother channel of the kidney, meaning it's the tonifying. Personally, I find that that's not so important. It's supporting, it's extra, whatever, it's cute, it has a lovely theory. But in the case of pancreatitis tummy, it tends to be worth doing. I don't automatically add lung 5 to adrenal treatment, but you will see people who say they do. That's an old ideology. And people are, some people say they do kidney 16 as well. That is, in my opinion, absolutely wrong. I've never seen it by Kiiko. I'm not saying what Kiiko does and doesn't do. I can't tell you, but it's not fair because only Kiiko can tell you what she does. But I haven't seen it. But I think it got stuck. Like, for example, we have a point right here where the shoulder and the neck meet. It has a beautiful name, magic thyroid point. Magic thyroid. Everybody wants something to do with this point. It's magic, It's like, man, it's like okay, you can say magic thyroid reflects the thyroid. We never use it for treatment. We never do anything with it. It's just another point. That some master in Japan said, I like this point, but practically speaking, everybody chases after the magic thyroid point. It's like gold. It's like the magic that we all want. So sometimes people get stuck. So you'll see this style being manipulated by different people in different ways. And we get into this, stuff. So Ren 12 will often immune point or kidney points will resolve it. Or, now this is another interesting subject. So in the pulse, you're supposed to have 3 qualities. The pulse is supposed to have depth, it's supposed to have Shen, and it's supposed to have stomach chi. I think we can all agree what depth is. Shen is going to be a little hard to describe. What is it? But the pulse is animated. It's not like bleh, So I think we can sort of understand what Shen is. We may have very different ideas about what it is. But what does it mean that a pulse has stomach chi? So Nagano defined a pulse that has stomach chi is a pulse that does not have stomach chi. It's a pulse that has no movement. So when you feel the pulse under your fingers, what you're feeling is boop, boop, boop. You're not feeling movement towards the thumb. So it has no curve. It just has g, g. That's a stomach chi pulse. What originally we started with stomach chi, these stomach chi points, those bumps that you saw in the first patient, on the stomach channel. Now this is on the stomach channel that's on the bone, not the stomach channel that a lot of people I know take it on the other side of the tibialis anterior. No, I'm talking about on the bone. There are bumps. Those bumps, not everybody has them. The more bumps you have, that's stomach chi. And that's the typical thing is the person who doesn't have stomach chi pulse. But originally, that point, Nagano loved stomach 41. Okay, it's the fire point on the earth channel. It's the tonification point of the spleen of the earth. Okay, so TCM is in love with stomach 36. okay? Which makes sense because it's below the knee, meaning it supports. But Nagano loved stomach 41. And later he said, no, he preferred stomach chi points. You can do 3 or 4 of them even. Okay, of these bumps, needle down and towards, and tomorrow I'll show that also. So, especially if you have that pulse that, you know, doesn't have the movement forward. But also it's a great point for knees. So either stomach chi will work or stomach 41 hopefully will work. I mean, there's never a guarantee 100%. You know, there's always people that it doesn't work for. But those are the things I use for meniscus type stuff, so inner knee eye. Okay? So stomach chi can be a good point for Ren 12 also. Okay, so either kidney, like you saw on the second woman that was here, you saw kidney 9, did a good job, or immune point, or sometimes if they're a nervous type person, I use, this is also for thyroid, Kawai's thyroid ear point is you fold the ear and there's a tendon that sticks. If there's a few of them, that is totally fine. Take the lowest one, and under the tendon, needle, just tuck the needle in, no big deal. That releases the thyroid, and for people with like nervous type people, that also releases Ren 12. Okay. Above, so Ren 15 basically we talked about it because it's spleen 3 plus heart plus pericardium. Ren 17, eventually you will get to the pericardium, but before you do, my suggestion is triple warmer. Either 5 for rapid pulse or what I call 8 for slow pulse. Well, the second will do triple warmer 8 because it's a very important point for me. Okay. Liver we kind of talked about. If it's, you press under the ribs or on liver 14, both you check. If it's dull, we say liver deficiency. That's the dogma. If it's sharp, we say liver excess. Okay. Now, if we're not sure, no problem. We have points that will work for both. Okay. So liver, dullness, dull pain, liver deficient is liver 1. Now liver 1 has 4 locations. That's the big toe. Okay. So official Jingwell point, because they say all sorts of weird things, but if you took it literally like a Jing, and this is the crease, okay, you can take it as a Jingwell point, just like you normally would. You can take it halfway, like a Jingwell point, but halfway between the crease, and you can take it on the crease as well, and you can take it halfway in the middle. And this is the Jitsu, liver 1. This is what he uses with moxa for, he talks about doing it for hernias. Okay. Kiiko says nowadays that she thinks this is the best one. I personally find either this one or this one tends to be the best one for me. But just know that there are literally 4 liver 1s. You're going to have to try it. There's no one liver 1 that you can say, okay, it didn't work, I'm moving on. No. The first one didn't work, go to the second one. Second one didn't work, go to the third one. Third one didn't work, go to the fourth one. After you tried all 4, you can say it's not liver 1. But don't give up just because one of them didn't work. So unfortunately, you've got 4 things. Better, 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 better. Okay, no, fine. But hopefully one of them will work. Liver excess, we have a few types. One of them is that clearly damage to the liver, physical damage to the liver. It's not the energetic, the Chinese liver, it's the physical liver. And that's the right side kidney 7, spleen 7. Spleen 7 is not on the bone, but just behind the bone. Some people will call it liver 6. Okay, and often there'll be an edema. You press and there'll be an edematic sort of situation there. My liver 5, liver to me is on the bone. So this is liver 5 and this is spleen 7, different. Then often a lot of TCM people like to take the liver behind the bone. That is the spleen's domain, I'm sorry. It just isn't correct. In fact, I had a very famous woman who was in my class, mostly because I was teaching in a clinic, and then she stuck her head in every so often, and then one boy said, how come you don't, she was a Chinese woman from Nanjing, and she said, how come you don't use liver 6 for hepatitis? She got point of liver. I said, I don't really have a liver 6. I don't use it. I don't know what I use spleen 7. And we kind of got friendly through these interactions. She said, well, show me. And she said, that's liver 6. And I said, no, that's spleen 7. I'm sorry. For me, that's spleen 7. For you, it can be liver 6. She was a very, very famous gynecologist from Nanjing. So I don't, you don't, I don't want to be rude and say, excuse me, I think you were taught wrong, because 14th generation practitioner, I must be wrong. But for me, liver is on the bone and spleen is behind. And you go further behind the bone, that's not spleen for me, not as a point. Doesn't mean that something won't work there. Kidney 7, spleen 7, heart 3, pericardium 4, all on the right side, that's liver excess with physical liver damage. Then you may have liver 2 pain. That's often people with alcohol issues, or my parents were alcoholic. People who come, I can't speak about England because when I teach in the States, I say when patients come and I check liver and they show liver 2 pain, I go, and they say, I don't drink. I don't know why my liver is problematic. And I say, do you come from a nice Irish family or a nice German family? Because generations of English drink just as much, I believe. I don't know. So, when you come from generations of drinkers, your liver is going to show even though you never had a drink in your life. It's totally possible. So if liver 2 shows, we do liver 4, liver 8. Now there's another kind of liver we call fatty liver. Okay, it's neither excess nor deficient. Yes?
What do you mean by liver 2, sorry?
If liver 2 is painful.
But
Liver
liver
2,
2,
yeah, fire point.
Okay, yes. I didn't know whether you meant like liver
No.
option 2 or something.
No, sorry, no.
Oh,
I'm just giving you different differentiation. If liver 2 is painful, you do liver 4 and liver 8.
Okay.
Remember that liver 4 is one thumb
That's all.
below the ankle. Don't take liver 4 as if it's on the ankle. One thumb below and on the medial side of the tendons. Now, fatty liver is the person who comes and, well, they're usually fat, or they tell you they have fatty liver. The treatment for that is right side stomach 25, right side liver 13. Now, if they're huge, I don't know how many people you get that like that in England, but in America, there are people that it's like, excuse me, I need a super extra wide table, and even then there's stuff falling over. Some people are just ginormous.
Could you just repeat the points on that?
Right stomach 25, right liver 13. Okay. But the huge, obese person, you can't just do that for fatty liver. You have to start with, you start left gallbladder 26, left stomach 27, Ren 6, then stomach 25, then, left gallbladder 26, try and visualize. You move left gallbladder 26, left stomach 27, the Oketsu one. Ren 6, now you can do right stomach 25 and right liver 13. So that's the full big gun, fatty liver. All of these on the back, you're going to do UB35 on the left. They'll show on the Now, liver type people will often show C3 exactly right side. Some of them will show UB43 on the right side. Okay? If they show UB43, we think it's emotional reflex, and we'll do liver 1. The point inside of UB43, what is the name? I know you want to say pericardium shoe, and you are wrong.
Lungs.
No, 42 is level of lung. It's level with the pericardium. It's okay.
Joy engine.
Lovely. Very good. So, meaning this area has to do with pericardium, we understand, because it is the pericardium shoe, but it has to do with the Jue Yin. UB43 pain, only right side, is typical for people with liver problems, and usually it's liver deficiency. Use liver 1 for it. Okay? So you see, liver is like, you have many things you can do. Liver 1 is also good for the C3, but any liver treatment, if it releases C3, I'm not going to say liver 1 is the only one to release the C3. And one more liver treatment, then we're off. Well, 2 more liver treatments, then the questions we're off the liver. Kidney 9, detox point, can be great for liver, possibly with large intestine 15. Okay, so it basically gives you different flavors of liver options, not just deficient and excess. And then the last one is people who have mouth sores. Okay, that we consider to be a liver excess type, but it's in the spleen domain because it's in the mouth, it's in the lips, right? So like
So
herpes. Ulcers or herpes or things of that nature. We do liver 3 plus spleen 3. Liver 3 because it's liver excess, spleen 3 because of the location. And it's amazing because you ask people to touch their sores and you say, touch and feel if it's painful. And then you press liver 3, spleen 3 and ask them touch again. And they say, wow, so much better. And it's really great treatment for that stuff.
Does it include sores on the inside of the mouth? Like
Could. Not, it's more like really for the lip, I mean, more clearly. Inside the mouth, in the gums, we have, go like this, not for lung 7, but go like this, and between the index and between your lung 7 and large intestine 6, say, something like that, you will find like a little bump, like a nodule. That's good for gums.
Okay.
So, but you can add spleen 3, you know, you can try to ask them, you know, touch with your tongue. And, you know, I know, I'm not going to touch in there. It's like, are you kidding? Not even with a glove. It's like, no, it's some things we don't do as acupuncturists. It's not what we're expected to do. If you're a doctor, you do that. But it's they're not coming for that. So those are the different liver types. So you can see many, many, many liver options. Yes?
I was wondering whether the C3 point you indicate that point tends to indicate liver. There's a point. Is that the same place where the extra point by Lao is located?
I don't know. Sorry. C3 meaning you go, third one. You know, in the neck. You know, I'm going 1, 2, 3. Either 2 or 3 or maybe 4 will be painful on only one spot. That I consider to be liver or diaphragm because it's phrenic nerve. I don't know about by now. I don't remember where it is. I mean, I remember there's a point there, but I have no clue. What I'm talking about is the Watto.
Yeah.
Okay. And
because it's related to
the phrenic nerve, and the liver is pressing on the phrenic nerve. If you find it on the left side, think cardiac, heart disease in the family, or try and think in the same way as liver 1 on the right side, try and use spleen 1 on the left side, see if that helps you. In my experience, Kiiko says yes, I say, maybe. You know, we all have different experiences. So let's do, let's go. You saw lungs. Lungs will also show between the shoulder blades. Between the shoulder blades, to release between the shoulder blades, great point is take the trochanter and just go in front of it and look for like gummy stuff. I mean, here you find gummy, ropey. Okay, this is a great point to release the rhomboids. Now people ask me, why do I think it releases the rhomboids? I know, that's the next question that's about to happen. In my opinion, it's a place where you're separating the leg from the torso. By putting the needle there, you're creating a separation. Since most of us are stuck down into our legs, what's going to happen when I push down into my leg? My whole lung collapses. And it's not because I tucked my pelvis, it's because I sank. Because I can do it with my tail sticking out, and I'm sinking, and I'll still sink here. So by creating a separation between the trochanter and the torso, I'm allowing this to open. Therefore, I'm allowing for the back of the shoulder blades to release and open. But on the front, for lung, it's generally lung 5. And we use this for bronchial reflex, kidney 24 to 27, anywhere there. And sometimes you can say lung 1, but lung 1 does not show on regular lung stuff. It has to be something different than just like your asthma bronchitis. You know, it's not in the bronchies show here. This is something else in the lung. Maybe in lung cancer you'll find it. Okay. By the way, the cancer abdomen, like serious cancer survivor, like major stuff, their abdomen, it will be like an overstretched balloon. Very weird abdomen. It's not like, there's no tonicity there. It's like, whoa. It's like somebody took a balloon and like put water in it and pushed the water in. And it's very weird. So that, it's a toxic abdomen, basically. Cardiac, then I want to do the SCM and then we can stop unless you want to continue, and I'm totally fine with continuing. So cardiac, because we also said C3 on the left side could be cardiac. Cardiac will, the pathognomonic for cardiac, in other words, if they have this, they clearly have, to me, cardiac, is small intestine 11 on the left side only. Clearly pathognomonic for cardiac.
On the left side.
On the left side, yeah. The heart is on the left side. But you have many other reflexes for the heart. Okay, Ren 17, kidney line on the left side. But again, kidney line on the left side might be that it's really lungs, and yes, right side is not showing, but it's just because it's not reflecting yet. Maybe complicated by slight heart tendency or something. We just don't know. So, but kidney line on the left side, Ren 17, Ren 15, but pressed up and to the left. Straight in is worry reflex. Up and to the left is cardiac. Okay. Stomach 18, pericardium 1 area. My pericardium 1, especially women, you don't forget the Swanson away from the nipple for pericardium 1. It's like, what are you, it's on the breast. It's a joke. It's like, so get off the breast sort of thing. So you can call pericardium 1 or gallbladder 22, whatever you want to call it. Gallbladder 22 will be a little further back. But you want to feel the ribs. You don't need to feel breast tissue to feel cardiac. It's not going to reflect the cardiac in the breast. Okay? But pericardium 1 on most women, actually on men too, if you just go one side, you're on the fat tissue of the breast, and even men have something there. So you have to get on, if you want a cardiac reflex, you have to get on the intercostal spaces. Okay? And then on the other thing on the back you'll find is the inner border of you find small intestine 11, and you find the inner border of the scapula, you'll find like a rope going from UB42 or even 41 down to 44. 45. So the whole inner border of the scapula on the left side only is going to be gummy. Now,
but a lot of people have that, I actually felt.
Yeah, if it's only left, only left, yes.
Yeah.
So it's clearly not because they're left-handed, which is what people like to tell you. Oh yeah, it's my right hand. Well, you can't all be left-handed, let's be honest. So a lot of people have cardiac energetics because there's a lot of heart disease in the world. So they're younger, they don't have heart disease, but if you start asking, mama, papa, grandparents, any heart disease in the family. Now, if you're just finding that ropey, that's the other thing. You saw how I did do 2, but I exchanged it, I did it against the right side. I usually do it against the left side. It can be an autonomic nervous system disorder. Why? Because where is the most crucial nervous system? Give you the extra word, you'll know exactly what I mean, but it's not a test. The place where the nervous system is most crucial is where? The pacemaker. That's the one nerve conduction. You cannot have an MS in your pacemaker and survive. Okay, you can't have this nerve not working. So it's a nervous system it's absolutely essential. So very often, lots of people have it because I believe it relates to the autonomic nervous system, and when I press and do 2 upwards, that softens, that disappears. The left, outer UB line, inner border of the scapula. Okay, so you're right. It's very common, but it can be cardiac, but it can also be autonomic nervous system, which is a huge subject. So either we'll do it today or we'll do it tomorrow, but we do need to get through it. So now cardiac, officially rapid pulse or normal pulse, but not slow, you can do Ren 4. The other indication for Ren 4 though is a big flooding pulse. Now don't take this too seriously, the big flooding. You're not looking for some major flooding, but it's not the teeny pulse. It's basically what I would say about it. I'm sure Nagano had a different idea. On the back, the other thing is if they have any sort of edema, if they're an actual cardiac patient, they have any sort of edema in the legs, you've got to move the water first. You can't push the heart against edema. You've got to clean the edema first. How do you clear edema? Spleen 3, 7, and 11. Of these, spleen 7 is the most important. On the back for people with that, now you've moved the water, now you have to move the kidneys to get rid of the water. So you have them on the side, and you do gallbladder 25 on the side downwards. You have to activate the quadratus lumborum. The quadratus lumborum we call kidney muscle. So you start with gallbladder 25, the kidney moo point, and then you can also do UB20, spleen shoe, into the quadratus lumborum, meaning downwards towards the buttocks, and you do large intestine shoe also. or outside large intestine shu. So you're surrounding the quadratus lumborum.
Sorry, I missed the,
Gallbladder 25,
yeah.
UB 20,
UB 20.
UB 24, I believe, is the large intestine shu, or that
25.
line, whatever. That's why it's easier to find large intestine shu. And add to it UB 28 because you're trying to move water, so bladder shu. Okay, so you're stimulating quadratus lumborum to stimulate the kidney and get the water that you've moved through the spleen 3711, get it to move out through the kidney, out through the bladder. Then you take them and turn to the other side and do the other side. You have to do both sides. Best to do it lying on the side. It's this way the quadratus lumborum sticks out. When they're lying flat, like this, the quadratus lumborum sort of sinks in. When they're on the side, it will stick out more, so you're better off doing it that way. By the way, continuation of Ren 9 pulse treatment on the back is UB 52 in towards the spine. Doesn't have to be on the side. They're lying on their stomach, do UB 52 towards the spine. And that's a continuation because it's Ren 9 pulse is sort of an adrenal indication also. Weak dantian is an adrenal indication. So you need to strengthen the lower dantian. Okay. If they have slow pulse, you cannot do Ren 4. Slow pulse, you'll do to UB 27. And we talked about that. That's the treatment. It's similar, very similar to autoimmune, except in autoimmune, we're adding kidney and lung, systemic. If it's regular or rapid pulse, it means kidney points plus lung points, whatever you choose that will clear the most in the abdomen. If they have slow pulse, what you do is UB 27, UB 23 or 52, meaning kidney shu line, plus UB 13 or 42, meaning UB line. I have a preference for the outer UB line in that case, generally speaking. UB 42, I needle not towards the spine, like UB 52, I needle towards the spine. UB 42, I needle into the scapula, away from the spine. Okay? So it's systemic metal water. On the front, it's using the meridians. On the back, it's using the shu points. Make sense? Okay, let's do the SCM and then let's do a check-in as to where we're at in our lives. Okay, so vagus nerve is one of the most important things. I think I've said it 20 times. You probably have a clue that that's kind of must be true because he's saying it so many times. You want to release it. Also remember the so-called windows of the sky ideology. You've got to release the neck for anything to happen so communication between the brain and the body can occur. Okay. So I poke on the SCM 1, 2, 3. Now I go to opposite side. First, I need to check the pulse. If the pulse is not rapid, my default is what I call triple warmer 8. What is triple warmer 8? I slide up until I stop on the triple warmer channel. I'm on the triple warmer channel, sliding up. Where it stops is triple warmer 8. Now I can take it further away towards the small intestine channel if I need to. Just like the immune point that we're needling when they're lying down towards the table, triple warmer 8 also needle towards the table, not straight down. Okay? Now, triple warmer 8 releases opposite side SCM. However, strangely enough, it releases the same side of the cervicals. So sometimes you'll find that because it releases the same side of the cervicals, it actually also releases the same side SCM. But that's one of those come from the side to fix the center to create the lift, okay, for me. So this point I use lots. There was a period that Nagano used, we call this Shaoyang treatment. You can add to this one, you can add to gallbladder 40. If you're using triple warmer 5 for rapid pulse, you add gallbladder 41. But honestly, the gallbladder is a supporting point. You can get away without it. So there was a time we called this Shaoyang treatment. There was a time that Nagano did Shaoyang treatments all the time. There was a time Nagano did, for example, stomach chi treatments on everybody. You know, there's different times he was doing different things. So, you know, just to explain to you how powerful this is. If you release the neck, you're releasing the nervous system, you're offering people space and light, which is the purpose of what you're trying to do in this whole business. Okay? So this is one of those points. Yes, it doesn't exist in TCM. It's so worth knowing. And if they have rapid pulse, it's going to be Ren 5, Sanjao 5.
Adding 2 or just on its own?
Sorry?
Adding 2?
No.
No.
Sanjao 5 for rapid pulse, Sanjao 8 for slow or regular pulse.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's extremely important because so many people have autonomic nervous system disorders. So, I think you've got flooded with more information than you probably care to memorize, but it's the nature of, you come to a new style, it's going to be like that. Where are we at? We're at about 5'10", I believe.
A bit later than that, 20 to 6.
Okay. Well, forgive me. Would you like to continue? Would you like to go to dinner and just bullshit? Would you like to continue dinner and bullshit about acupuncture? Whatever you like to do, I'm
Has anyone
open.
got any time restrictions?
I have taught until 8 o'clock at night in some places, so it's not about
I
me.
have to get up anyway. You have to get up.